Our water quality is really the key to all healthy ecosystems, healthy people, and healthy animals. Without good water quality, we have obviously animals and plants and people that might not do well, but it affects industry. It also affects our taxes, because the more water we have to process or try to clean up, the more cost that is to the community. When we measure the quality of our water, which we have some programs going on here in Dublin, both professionally and with volunteers, but anybody can do this. The type of equipment you'll need for water quality monitoring are some tall boots or shoes that you don't mind getting wet, an ice cube tray that's light or white colored, little plastic white bins, say a dishwashing bin. You'll also want the ID chart and some nets, because that's how we're going to be doing our collecting. So when we do our quality monitoring, what we're doing is we're looking for macro invertebrates. Well, what is an invertebrate? An invertebrate would be like a dragonfly or a fly or a beetle, animals that don't have backbones. So we're going to be using our nets, and we're going to go out into the stream where the water's flowing pretty good over some stones, and we're actually going to set our net down into the water so that the edge of the net is flush with the bottom of the creek, and water's going to be flowing through that net. Now the animals are hiding in the stones or the sand, so after we set our net, we're going to have to kick around the rocks a little bit upstream from that net to be able to get the water to stir up the animals. After we take our net out of the water, we're going to flip it or invert it into our tub, our white tub that has the little bit of water in it. And then we're going to be able to see a lot of animals swimming or floating around in there. Then we can individually take out each animal and put it in a little section of the ice tray, and that helps us to separate those species, and then we'll be able to identify them using the ID chart. We also can then take one of our pH test strips and get a little cup of that water and dip the strip in there, and we'll have to wait about a minute for the color to change, and that will tell us if the water is normal or if it's too acidic or too basic. After we test the water and we collect the animals, we're going to be able to use the animals that we ID to compare on our chart, because each species of animal lives in a specific quality of water. So we have animals like snails and crayfish that are pretty tolerant, and they can be found in what we call level 3 water, which might not be as clean. Then we have animals like stoneflies or caddisflies that can handle water with a little bit of pollutants in it. And then we have some animals like mayflies that require really clean water. So those animals all have a number quality associated with them, and then on that chart we can compare those to figure out the quality of the water. One of the most important things that we can do to keep our water healthy in Dublin is to make sure that we're disposing of yard waste properly. One of the best ways to handle grass clippings is actually to mow the lawn and leave the grass clippings on the grass, because they'll actually provide fertilizer. What we don't want to do is rake them all up and put them in the wood line or in the back of our property, because every time it rains, a little bit of those leaves or grass clippings ends up washing away into the streams and rivers. And our biggest pollutant in the city of Dublin is yard waste that gets into the streams. We really don't have much problem with fertilizers, but make sure your fertilizers are being applied at the right time, which is what keeps them in the grass instead of in the streams. And composting food waste is really helpful. Some people want to put food waste into the disposal, but disposals really aren't meant for that, because then all that food waste is going to our water treatment plant, which has to work really hard. So properly disposing of medicines, any kinds of oils or paints and food is really the best way to keep our water clean.